God. Coming to a conclusion about the God question is a central issue in life. More consequences in your life come from your view of God than from anything else you believe. And you can't be neutral about it either. Oh, you can't say it doesn't matter if God exists, because it does matter. It matters ultimately. You have to pick your path, like the path that I'm on here, or the people in the path behind me. If you know where you're going, it helps. Once you can acknowledge God's existence, you've picked your path. And you can ask, what does this mean for me? Because you've set your life on a path that's completely different than if you deny God's existence. So we come to the third of the major worldviews, theism. That's a word which comes from the Greek, which literally means God, Godism. Those who hold to theism believe that there is a God who created everything that exists. They believe that God is all-powerful and the kind of being that you can relate to and talk to and even love. In fact, loving God expresses the reason He made us. Now, some of you may not be certain of your belief in God. Maybe you've been disappointed by the behavior or lifestyle of someone who says they believe in God. Or maybe you look around at many of the believers and say, not me, I'm not one of them. I don't want to be one of them. Well, let me say that this is a question that's between you and God. Don't let people around you distract you from finding truth. Maybe you've asked, how can a good God exist when there's so much evil in the world? Why would a good God allow such innocent suffering? If I were God, I wouldn't let it happen. Well, these are good questions and good points. But we've got to be careful not to blame God for the actions of evil people. Plus, the story isn't over yet. Now, I don't think there's easy solutions to the problem of evil, but there are resolutions. Or maybe you say, I don't want there to be a God. I don't want to be accountable for my life. Well, if that's the case, there's really nothing anybody can do or say to change your mind. Even if you are a skeptic or an atheist, you have to acknowledge that a lot of brilliant people throughout history have enthusiastically come to the conclusion that God exists. Doesn't it make you wonder why? Let me explain to you why so many smart people do believe in God. For one, the existence of God explains the existence of everything else. You and I understand what it means to be creative. And the very fact that anything exists at all could lead many thinking people to believe that someone brought it into existence. Now, second, it's more than just the existence, but the way everything exists. The design and the orderliness of the universe is incredible. Everything began from a chaotic mass of matter. How did everything become so well defined and designed? Why do the physical laws allow us to understand the physical universe so well? How about the laws of biology and chemistry? Why are they so fine-tuned? An atheist may say, well, it just happened. And that's fine and good, but you can see why a brilliant thinking person could conclude that whenever you see evidence of design, you automatically think of the designer. It's not unlike seeing these lampposts in this fence. You could certainly say they randomly arranged themselves to form this path, or you might more likely think that the city arranged them. Third, the existence of God explains the existence of us, of humans. It's one thing to look at the inanimate universe of stars and quasars, planets and comets, but where did we come from? And not only life in general, but human life. How did creatures with such intelligence, morality, and sense of purpose arise from lifeless matter? Again, you see why many smart people have concluded that indeed we were brought into existence by an intelligent, moral, and purposeful God. Besides, if there's no meaning of life, where did the concept of meaning even come from? Believing in God also explains why every culture that has ever existed has had some belief in a supreme being. Even more, believing in God gives us insight into why we have this sense of morality within us. And the core of this reality is basically the same throughout the whole world. So believing in God is not putting your brain in neutral. It's actually putting your brain in overdrive. In fact, as Augustine once said, I believe in order that I may understand. Acknowledging the existence of God is the first step in making sense of the world. It's amazing how things begin to fall into place once you step down that path. There are many people who say they believe in God. In fact, there are three major religions in the world that hold to the belief in the kind of God that we're talking about. And they're Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All three of these religions believe in a personal God who created the world and will judge each person after death. But it's very obvious that just believing in God doesn't guarantee a world of peace and love. Some use their belief in God to justify imposing what they think are God's standards on other people. Many of them use violent means. Even some who call themselves Christians have taken this approach. With so many people creating their own God, how do we know what's true? And here's the good part, and it's so obvious. God has told us about Himself. God hasn't kept us groping in the darkness for some clue to His existence, nor has He kept us in the dark about the kind of person that He is, nor what He expects from us. Even more exciting, God has gone out of His way to show us the path that He has made for us to restore a relationship with Him. For this reason, Jesus Christ becomes the watershed in our understanding of God. Christianity is Jesus Christ. In fact, it's following the person of Christ. Not a bunch of rules or a book or a philosophy. Christianity is Christ. Becoming a Christian is recognizing that God stepped into the path of history to restore the broken relationship caused by sin. And He made this happen through Jesus. Why? Why did He do this? Because He loved us so much. God said, I'd rather die than live without you. So He did. You embrace Christ and accept God's gift of forgiveness for your sin. Now you've chosen your path, and it seems the world makes sense. Now we understand why there's so much suffering and struggle in the world. Different paths. We also understand how a loving God has responded through the sacrifice of His Son, so we can put our lives together right now and enjoy His incredible presence forever.